So we're going to make Caesar salad dressing. Now one of the things that I want to caution you on is I don't have a ton of actual written recipes. You'll see that most of the stuff I do, I'm just adding salt, adding pepper, and kind of doing it to taste. One of the recipes I have is the Caesar salad dressing recipe. And you got to make sure that you read the bottom part. Too many of my students will grab the recipe, go get all the ingredients, and dump it into one bowl. You have to read the instructions on this because we want to make an emulsified dressing. We want to make the vinegar and the oil suspend each other, to stay together. We don't want it to separate. Like when you look into your refrigerator and you get your Italian dressing, you have to shake it up because it's all separated. We want to prevent that from happening, right? So vinegar and oil do not like each other, right? So what we have to do is we have to coat the vinegar molecules with something, an emulsifier, that will hold it together. In this particular recipe, there are two emulsifiers. We have Dijon mustard and we have mayonnaise, right? The ratio is going to be 1 cup of vinegar versus 3 cups of oil. It's always 3 to 1 on a dressing. So, we follow the recipe, we just take our mayonnaise, we put it into our mixing bowl. So that's 1.5 cups of mayonnaise. To the mixing bowl. Right? We have 6 cloves of garlic that have been chopped, and they have been chopped really, really fine because it's going into a dressing. You don't want to get a big chunk of raw garlic in your dressing. The vinegar, 1 cup, this goes in. And a good amount of Dijon mustard, pretty much the same amount of Dijon mustard as you have for the vinegar. Right, you can change this by making it a spicy mustard if you want to. The Dijon is what this recipe goes. Now, here's the key part. The oil and the vinegar, they don't like each other. We want them they want to mix them together so it suspends the dressing and it stays all nice, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is like this. Now you can see that I'm holding onto the bowl as I'm spinning, which is fine as long as I'm just mixing the ingredients that are in the bowl. When I go to add this, now I try to mix and my bowl spins. I don't want my bowl to spin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a towel out of my sanitizing bucket. Because no towel should be on the counter, especially not wet, not dry ones. This wet sanitizing towel, I'm going to take it, I'm going to turn it into basically like a tube. Pick up my bowl, put that down in kind of a circular shape. Put my bowl on top of that, and then now I can whisk away and my bowl doesn't move at all. Right? I'm going to slowly add the oil. If you add the oil all at one time, it will not emulsify and it will separate, and then you will not have a good dressing. You want this as a Caesar salad dressing, you want this to coat the lettuce, and you can't do that if it's separated. And what will happen is you'll have like a vinegary thing on the bottom and you'll have a mayonnaise paste on the top, all right? This is very different than the way it used to be back in the day when I was a young kid. We used to make Caesar salad dressing on the fly. We'd make it in small batches because it was made with a raw egg yolk, and you couldn't hold it very long. Now we don't use a raw egg yolk anymore. And that was the emulsifier. Now we use mayonnaise. So you just go and you slowly whisk this in. If you have a friend to hold the bowl, that's fine. If you have a friend that can help you so you don't have to whisk like crazy, that's fine too. You can also put it in a mixing bowl. Let the mixing bowl do all the work, and all you have to do is slowly add it in. But you have to make sure that you slowly add the oil. If you add it too fast, it will separate. We don't want it to separate. And that, my friends, is exactly how we make Caesar salad dressing. That's good. Now, alright, so we've incorporated all the oil. It's a nice mixture. And now, if you look at the recipe, it says add lemon juice and it says add salt. So the lemon juice is going to be to taste. I'm just going to add a little bit. This is lemon juice concentrate. I strongly suggest that you get real lemon. It has a much more power-packed flavor. I don't have that kind of cash, so we with the lemon concentrate. You add the salt, you add the lemon juice, and also optional on this is anchovies. Classically, Caesar salad has anchovies in it. Now, most of my students will go, ew, anchovies, I'm not putting that in there because it says optional. And I would say it's fine, no big deal. They would make it, then they would go off to lunch, and then I would add the anchovies afterwards, and they would never know. All right, so now we have to give it a taste. Always make sure we use a tasting spoon. Very good. There we go. So my reaction when I tasted it was because it's a power pack, it's a really powerful dressing. If I take this dressing and I put it on lettuce, the lettuce is mostly water content. Most of the inside the lettuce is made of water. So it will dilute this down and it's going to have a great flavor with the lettuce combined. Straight away, it's power packed. It makes you go, and you can really taste that lemon. All right? So next is going to be cutting the lettuce. So we're going to cut the lettuce for our Caesar salad. We're going to use romaine lettuce. That's the classic lettuce that you use. What you need to understand is that lettuce grows in the ground like this. This is the bottom of the lettuce. It grows in the ground like this. Rain comes down and the water in the rain hits the ground and sand pops up and goes inside, in between the leaves. So you have to always wash your lettuce no matter what. Even if it comes in and it says it's already washed, wash it again. Right? I also look around and I look for bad parts like this and I'll pull that off. I don't want to waste any of the lettuce that's good. Like this whole leaf right here, I can see right now I'm not liking the way that looks. And I'll pull off any parts that are brown. Anything that I wouldn't want to eat in my salad, I want to remove. Alright? So then, because this is romaine lettuce, every lettuce is different, but this one, all the leaves are going in this direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to cut it. And I'm going to cut it like an inch farther and I'm going to keep on rolling it. And essentially what's going to happen is all my leaves from the outside, from the inside out, are going to be cut into long strips. Then I'm going to turn it sideways, squeeze it together with my hand, and all I have to do is go back and forth. And it cuts it into bite-sized chunks without me having to take it all apart. Now, there's two different schools of thought. I just talked to Chef Iannone, and he's heard the same things. I've been told by many different chefs that if you cut a lettuce with the knife, that the lettuce will turn brown faster. I've heard that you have to do it, rip it by hand. I've also been told that you see this inside of here, you see the little white spectacles? That's what makes it turn brown. I'm not sure if any of it fits. I've also been told if you use a stainless steel knife versus a plastic knife, it all is just kind of like talk as far as wives' tales or old chef's tales as far as I'm concerned. As soon as you cut into it, it's going to start to decay. The longer it stays whole, the better it's going to be. And once you have it into your sink, you take a spider, okay? Spider is nothing, it's called a spider because it looks like a spider web. Nothing more than a long instrument that has a basket on the end. It's not a basket, it's a flat mesh. And I'm going to stir it around. So what I'm going to do is stir it around, and I'm hoping to dislodge any of the sand or grit or dirt that's on there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and do some other things in the kitchen, and I'm going to let it rest for about 5 minutes. I'm going to let it sit. What will happen is the sand is heavier than the lettuce. The sand will all settle to the bottom, and then when I go to take it out of here, I'm going to scoop just from the top only, leave the grit in the bottom of the sink. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. We let no, keep it going. It's been 5 minutes. We let our lettuce rest, right? Now we're gonna go to this. This is the salad spinner, right? This comes in 3 separate pieces, right? It's like this. A lot of them have a tube, have a hole in the tube. The bigger ones do. So you can put it on the counter next to your sink. You spin and all the water comes out as you spin. This one doesn't have that. But there's a little bucket that goes inside, or a basket that goes inside. There's a little thing on the bottom that it sits on. Gotta make sure it's sitting there nice. Then you take your spider, and as I said before, we want all the grit to settle to the bottom of this sink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently take the lettuce off the top, shake as much water as I can off of it, and put it into the salad spinner. Now, if you've ever gone to the amusement park and ridden a ride called the Rotor, right? It's a round ride. You walk in, you stand against the wall of the ride begins to spin, and what happens is the floor drops out, and the speed with which that thing is spinning makes you stick to the wall. The floor drops out and you stay against the wall. You essentially are going to do that with this lettuce. Alright? So you're going to put it in here now. If you look inside here, there's a lip right here. You don't want to go any higher than that. The salad will move up, and all the water will be pulled off of it. But if you go higher than this, it doesn't have any room to move. So when I do that, you want to put your lid on. And at this point too, as you're pulling it out, if you see any brown spots, again, something you wouldn't want to eat, you pull them out, right? Make sure that it goes on and it fits nice and snug. You have a little indentation for your hand so you don't hit your hand when you're going. Grab the handle and spin it as fast and as hard as you can. Now, don't stop it when you're by yourself. I'm going to lift it up so you can see just how fast that thing spins. And like I said, what's happening is the water is being sucked off of it. The lettuce is it's just like that ride. You're against the wall, and everything that's not attached to you is coming off, right? Now we're doing this because I just made the salad dressing. You saw my facial expression when I tasted it by itself. Once I add the lettuce to it, I want it to have a nice flavor. If that dressing doesn't have a big power pack flavor when I eat it raw or straight, then it's not going to have any flavor at all. The other thing that could happen is if I take this right out of the water and I put it into a pan and then I put my dressing on, with its water sopping on it, it's gonna dilute that dressing, and I've wasted my time. So now there's my lettuce. It's not completely dry, but a lot of the water is gone, and you can see just how much water has come off of those. All right, so now I'll repeat that process, get that into my pan, and then when it comes time for service, I'll show you how to mix it. All right, so we rinsed our lettuce, we washed our lettuce, we spun our lettuce to get the water off, made our dressing, mix the two together, and the part that I want to point out is to see how it is sticking to the lettuce itself. It's not sliding right off because it was not soaking wet when it went in there. It sticks to it. So now our lettuce is completely coated with dressing. It's not going to be all like water on top and dressing all on the bottom of the container. Final product, I had to do a little quick on the fly. We end up having a shrimp Caesar, and next one I'm going to show you will be the chicken. All right, so here is the chicken Caesar salad. Roasted chicken placed on top with croutons and Parmesan cheese, romaine lettuce,